So Battlefield 6's beta is tomorrow, and I actually luckily managed to get a code from a certain distributor. The beta goes live tomorrow, and I'm honestly excited for it, like really excited. The hype around this thing is actually insane. The beta client already hit a peak of around 10,000 players on Steam, and I actually checked earlier today myself on PlayStation 5, and there was about 40,000 people waiting in queue, and there wasn't even a game to play. You know, just a bunch of people sitting in the menus, tweaking settings, turning motion blur off, dialing their FOV, sensitivity, you know, just the usual. And that's kind of crazy to me when you think about it, because like people were so ready to play this, no, people are ready to play this game that they were literally sitting in an empty beta just to be ready the second it launches, and this was 24 hours before it. I mean, that kind of hype doesn't really happen often. I mean, I think it's safe to say that this is probably going to be one of the biggest beta launches we've seen in a while, at least for a Battlefield game. It feels like the whole FPS community is watching this one, and like I said before, just hoping that it buries COD. But yeah, all I can do is wait till tomorrow. I've got everything ready, my controllers are charged, so is my headset. I'm just finally waiting to hop in and see what this game is really about. Can it overtake COD? We'll see. Yeah, this game's crazy. I'm just going to get straight into it, starting with every building you step into has some sort of damage going on. Sometimes it's small, just a few bricks crumbling from a wall you just passed, but other times it's extreme, with entire rooftops collapsing right on top of you. Occasionally, it feels like the destruction goes a little overboard in my opinion, like when a single grenade wipes out a whole building. But honestly, it still adds chaos and unpredictability to every match I play. I mean, one moment that really stood out to me was when my team destroyed a tank in the middle of the road, and instead of it just, you know, vanishing from the map like most games do, most FPS games do, the wreckage actually stayed there and changed the fight. The top of the tank created a sort of, you know, tunnel you could crawl under, which I used to prone and surprise enemies around the corner. Unfortunately, the clip I did have of it got corrupted, but it was a cool example of destruction affecting the environment in a meaningful way. It's little things like that that makes the battles feel more alive. The gunplay feels sharp, and thank God the recoil is finally fixed. In Battlefield 2042, recoil was a nightmare. I mean, no matter what attachments or settings I tried, it just never worked. With Battlefield 6, the difference is huge. Shots are actually stable, recoil is manageable, and aiming feels way more consistent to 2042. I mean, I also hopped into a helicopter for a bit, and it was honestly a blast for the short time I was in the air, you know, before crashing down. Outside of vehicles though, I did notice something a bit odd. My aim felt worse when I was playing late at night, and I mean really late at night. I'd miss shots I wouldn't normally miss, so I'd put the controller down and pick it back up the next day. But then again, the problem is with that is the beta only lasted 4 days, and waiting it out wasn't exactly practical in the end. Switching between game modes like Conquest and Domination really shows how different they are in pace and in style. Conquest is more spread out and tactical with big objective battles, while Domination feels like pure chaos, closer to Black Ops 6 or any COD you played, with players sprinting around, sliding and respawning instantly. I mean, the big problem for me was sensitivity. I kept having to tweak my aim settings because they felt so different from one another. I mean, a separate sensitivity slider for each mode might be worth adding, though maybe this is just my own issue, or I'm just, you know, not that good at the game. On the plus side, however, matchmaking was lightning fast. Domination games loaded in instantly, less than a second, while Conquest took about 7 to 15 seconds. But obviously with 4 to 500k players just on Steam, it's not shocking that finding a game wasn't an issue. Now the menus are a step up from 2042's, which I previously talked about for being slow, unresponsive and pretty delayed. They're more responsive in Battlefield 6, however, not perfect though, but better, and hopefully they'll even be smoother by full release. As for getting into the game, 2042 was notorious for making me restart my PS5 or internet or even my router just to log in, and it doesn't make sense. Sometimes I couldn't even get in at all and I would just quit the game. However, in Battlefield 6's beta, the same problem showed up in the first couple of days. When I mean couple, I mean the first 2. But after that it was fixed, I could just jump in without any issues and the problem just disappeared. Battlefield 6 is looking really promising so far. I'm still not pre-ordering, It's way too early for that, but it's definitely one to keep an eye on as we get closer to launch, which is in October. But anyways, I appreciate you guys watching. Leave a like, subscribe, and if you want to check out another Battlefield video, click the one on the screen now, and I'll see you in the next one.